Ciao Fabri, welcome back in our podcast. Today we talk
Ciao
about
guys.
strikers because it's been a busy week. It's going to be another busy week, the next one. So we start talking about Alexander Isak and what's happening with him.
Yeah, we start with his decision because I think it's a really important first point to enter into all details of this story. It's going to be probably massive in case it happens. It's going to be a record transfer fee. And I can confirm that the decision has been made on player side. Alexander Isak wants to leave Newcastle this summer. The player has been clear with the club this week after having several conversations with his agents to make a final decision on his future. Now Alexander Isak is very clear. He wants to go, he wants to try something different, he wants to try a new chapter in his career. And so Newcastle are well informed on the situation after direct communication from the player. This is why he didn't travel for the pre-season tour. There were some stories obviously about an injury from club side, and this is what they say from Newcastle. But the reality is that Alexander Isak wants to go. Alexander Isak feels that this is the right moment for him to take a new chapter, to start something different in his career. And so the decision is 100% made. Now obviously is on Newcastle to decide what they want to do, if they want to open doors to his exit, to sell the player, reinvest, start a new era for them after the fantastic performances of Alexander Isak in the recent years, or if they want to handle this situation with the player being unhappy at the moment and trying to source this. So he's on the club now, he's on Newcastle, but the player side has been clear. He wants to go and leave Newcastle.
So bring us behind the scenes of what's happening right now. Why does he want to leave Newcastle in this transfer session?
Look, the decision from what I heard is with no disrespect for Newcastle or for the manager or for the fans. Alexander Isak has always been very happy with everyone at Newcastle, never had any problem. But he feels there is now time for him to go and try something different. First point, he feels that now there is a really important club like Liverpool competing to win every single title next season with a fantastic squad, offering the opportunity to put important money on the table. Because don't forget that Liverpool almost 13 days ago spoke directly to Newcastle in direct club-to-club communication and informed them about being ready to pay a record transfer fee for Isak. So the player is aware of Liverpool desire, of Liverpool project, but also of Liverpool being ready to pay crazy money. For the first time in the recent years, we had many clubs interested in Alexander Isak, but no one really presented their official bid close to what Newcastle wanted. In this case, Liverpool can get, if not close, almost. So the situation is really interesting for the player to go to Liverpool to play Champions League football as well as he would do at Newcastle, but obviously with the ambition to win the title. So for Isak would be a big opportunity. This is why the player wants to go, and now again it depends on what Newcastle will decide to do.
So the question now is also on club side because Liverpool were really active this transfer session after signing Florian Wirtz, after signing Ekitike. So why are they willing to sign another striker?
Look, because I think it's very clear that they obviously lost and they're going to lose some players. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But obviously with Darwin Nunez expected to leave, with Federico Chiesa expected to leave, with Diaz expected to leave. Also, they want to reshape their attack to have players like Ugo Ekitike who can also play on the wing when it's needed, to have a creative player like Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak. They believe this is a perfect opportunity to give Arne Slot something special. And then for Alexander Isak, there is the chance. Some moments the market can be like the opportunity is about that. You can plan whatever you want, you can prepare whatever you want, but then in the market there are moments where you have the opportunity, and Liverpool feel that this is their opportunity to get the player, with many other clubs who are not working on a deal for Isak. So at the moment there is basically no direct competition in this moment of the market. It doesn't mean that other clubs don't want Alexander Isak, we will talk about that in a second, but it means that probably they are not ready to go for it in this moment. And so for Liverpool it's like a big chance on the market. They want to go for the player because don't forget, last summer Liverpool basically didn't spend any money. Obviously Federico Chiesa, but was not an expensive deal, and Mamardashvili same. So now they have the chance to invest money, they have the chance to go big, and they believe that Isak is a big opportunity, a big chance, and they don't want to miss this.
So you mentioned about other clubs like Chelsea, Arsenal, other clubs as well. Are these clubs part of this conversation as well?
Yeah, it's important to clarify something about that because my understanding is that Chelsea never entered into any conversation for Alexander Isak this summer. Never, ever. Also because they wanted to spend their money in a different way, and so it's João Pedro, Delap, wingers, Bino Gittens, now Xavi Simons. So Chelsea busy with different things. Arsenal always being focused during the whole summer between Gyökeres and Sesko, and then they decided to go for Victor Gyökeres, now finally official. Other Premier League clubs like Manchester United, not even close to the conversation, not even involved because of the financial package. And then it's important to say that the real opportunity we see every day in the media is about Saudi, is about Al Hilal, but I'm told that this is not even a negotiation, not even a concrete chance, because the player has already been very clear with Saudi clubs at the beginning of the window. He doesn't want to move to Saudi, with maximum respect for Saudi and their clubs and their league, but he wants to compete in Europe, he wants to compete at the highest level, he wants to win the Champions League, he wants to win the Premier League, and this is why Liverpool. And so at the moment the other clubs are not even close in this race, in this conversation to Liverpool. They are the clear favorites, they are the only club in concrete conversation and with concrete chances to sign the player. So this is the story. It's about Liverpool. Forget also about Saudi links because Alexander Isak has been very clear. He's not going to Saudi, so this is not a possibility.
So you mentioned about outgoings. What does it mean for the future of a player like Luis Diaz?
Yeah, for Luis Diaz, obviously, this is a financial topic more than technical. Obviously, Luis Diaz is a winger, Isak is a striker, but financially, Liverpool, as we mentioned, they already invested important money on several strikers. One striker, I mean, Ekitike, on several players like Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong. So financially, it's important also to raise some money, and Luis Diaz wants to go. Luis Diaz wants to leave. This is why he was not even on the bench for the friendly game against Milan. Luis Diaz has been clear with the club. He wants to try something new, something different. Bayern are expected to return to the table in the upcoming days with a new proposal, new official bid, but I can also tell you that behind the scenes there is a constant communication between Bayern, the agents of Luis Diaz, and Liverpool. They are on daily basis communication to try find a solution. So I think Luis Diaz will go. I think there is a very good chance. Bayern are prepared to push again in the next days to close this deal. And so at that point for Liverpool it would mean more than 70-75 million euros for sure, more fresh money, and so it also means that they will free some space up front also for a player like Isak. Again, obviously different in terms of skills, but in terms of number of players, for Luis Diaz the opportunity to go is now something quite clear.
Another player whose future is in doubt, and I think I'll be asking this question every week, is Darwin Nunez.
Yeah, and for Darwin Nunez, we still have to keep close eye on the situation of Saudi clubs because I think this could still be a possibility. We know that Napoli deal is completely off after they signed Lorenzo Luca. Darwin Nunez wanted to go there. So I think Darwin Nunez remains keen on a move to European clubs in case something comes up in the next days or weeks. It's with more than 1 month to go for the end of the summer transfer window, but if an opportunity will come for Darwin Nunez, I think he's still very open to European move. Otherwise, Saudi is still there. They wanted him in January, they want him now. Darwin is aware of this possibility. Obviously, this is big financial package from Saudi for Darwin Nunez. What I can guarantee once again is that despite what Arne Slot said today about a small injury, a minor injury for Darwin Nunez, the player wants to go, Liverpool want him to go, they want to part ways in a very respectful way, so there is no problem between Nunez and Liverpool, just they feel on both sides, club, manager and player, there is time to part ways, to make money for Liverpool, for the player to try a new chapter, and so I still believe that Darwin will go this summer.
We mentioned about the situation on Newcastle side. What can be the replacement of the striker?
Yeah, it's been a difficult summer for Newcastle so far, but there is still time to do good things, to do interesting things for Newcastle, because obviously they had several top targets, Ekitike, and he went to Liverpool. Then they had the opportunity to go for João Pedro before, and he decided to go to Chelsea, so it was not easy for Newcastle in some cases this summer transfer window. But what I can tell you is that Newcastle are going very big, but very big for Benjamin Sesko. They had contacts in the last 48 hours. It's not an easy deal because obviously for Sesko there are many possibilities. He's one of the most attractive strikers in Europe when it's about talent, potential, development, and so numbers, also because in terms of goals he did fantastic at Leipzig in the recent years. So Newcastle are trying. What I can tell you is that Newcastle spoke to people close to the player, presented their project. They are prepared to make an important financial proposal to the player and then to Red Bull Leipzig. So I think Newcastle will really try to do something special, something big for Benjamin Sesko. Other players they like are, for example, Nicolas Jackson at Chelsea. There is also a conversation still ongoing with Brentford for Vissa, who is a player who wants to move to Newcastle despite interest from Saudi. So Newcastle are moving on different tables, on different opportunities. They will be super busy in the next weeks, but Benjamin Sesko is their top target, and I think if they get Sesko is probably the correct key to understand this domino for Alexander Isak.
And what about Manchester United? Because we've been talking about Manchester United signing a striker the whole summer, and that's not happening yet.
Yeah, first of all, let me remind you the last episode we released, the Hero Many Blazers on Man United, so you can find everything about Manchester United. Today was more general about strikers, but I kept telling you that Benjamin Sesko, for example, is a name who's been discussed internally at Manchester United, but still no official bids to the player or to Leipzig. So at the moment we are still at the internal conversation stage. Ruben Amorim also in the last 24 hours said we have to be careful when we sign players. These messages like still assessing internally who is the right striker financially and on a technical point of view for Manchester United. So Sesko is being discussed internally, but Newcastle are going very big. Then there is more strikers in the list. Nicolas Jackson is a player they like, also Manchester United, but at the moment no club-to-club contact with Chelsea, so still early stages. They made a contact for Ollie Watkins with Aston Villa, but Villa want to keep the player, so it's not easy one at all. So I think United will be active on this opportunity to bring in a new striker in the next weeks, and I keep repeating that Man United will get a new striker because they are very convinced about that.
Thank you, Fabri, for that, and talk to you soon.
Thank you. Ciao guys. See you soon.